In Flutter, almost everything is a widget. So it is important to analyze your widget and make sure they are in a high quality standard. DCM comes with several metrics that helps you to measure the quality score of your widgets. And that's where the DCM analyze-widgets command comes into play. Let's see how this command, together with the DCM metrics, can help you to improve the quality of your widgets. All right, here is my Flutter application, and I have several folders and multiple widgets and files. Here's my widgets folder for reusability, and I have pages and so on and so forth. All right, so I'm going to analyze right now my Leap folder in order to see what is the quality of my widgets. DCM analyze widgets command will give me a report on all of my widgets. If you like the shorthand, just go ahead and use DCM AW command. All right, let me just run the command right now. And there you go. There is an overall analysis on number of folders and files and distinguish widget with their types, stateful or stateless, and then the reported widget, which in this case means the widgets that are below the threshold of high quality. And if I go up, you will see that I see the first widget here, and another one is also appearing here. Out of all of those widgets that I have, 2 of them have lower score. By default, the DCM analyze widgets report back to the console, but you can change the reporter to HTML and make sure that you generate an HTML format. If you use the HTML report, by default, it will also include the report all flag as well. So you don't need to pass this for HTML. But if you have other format like console, for example, you need to pass this to get the report of all of your widgets if you want that. I will also pass the open flag to open my HTML as it's generated. Here is my report. All of my widgets, the type of them, the overall quality score, and other indications such as number of fields, methods, used widget, and used by widgets. Let's take a look at one of these widgets. When you open any of these widgets, you will see the overall quality score, and then you will see all of those information that you've seen in the table. Number of fields, number of methods, number of used widgets. For example, the app widget is having only 1 field and then 2 methods and used 9 widget in the build method. Here is the 2 method, initial state and build. And each of these methods have scores on each of these metrics. So DCM comes with different type of metrics, which helps you to keep your code base more maintainable. And each of them has different purposes and different way of measuring. So let me show you this one, for example. If you just open the DCM and go to the metrics, under the functions, you will find this metric. And there is an explanation, what is this? Here is how you can use this. And then here is an example, which is calculated, in this case, 138. There are, in fact, several of these metrics categorized by functions, classes, and files, and you can read about them and use in your application. Now that we know each of these metrics, where you can read about them, you will see that this one, for example, has some kind of medium. It's just because if you look at metrics configuration, these metrics are gonna have some kind of default value. This one, for example, by default has 300. And the 300 means if the calculation of the initial state for this particular metric is now over that, which is slightly over, that looks like a medium quality. And the rest of them are low just because they are way lower than the index that is appearing here. This is a fallback configuration number, which means if I go back to my analysis option, you will see that I don't have any metrics defined, but still you can see the analysis is coming based on some numbers. But you can actually define these metrics and change the values if you want. For example, this one, I can change it to 350. Let's generate the report again. Now, if I come back to my widget, the overall quality score is 100 right now, which is a high quality widget. Let's take a look at the other part of this report. The used widget part is where you can see what type of widget this widget is using. For example, we're actually using all of these widgets, as you can see. And if you look at the used by, you'll see that none of the widgets are actually using this widget at all. There's two parts as well: use inherited widgets and also similar widgets. This one shows that we are actually using one of the inherited widget, media query in this case. And then you have the similar widget, which in this case does not show anything, because to get the similar widget, you need to pass the show similarity. I will do that shortly, but before that, let's take a look at other widgets to check the quality score. I'm going to open the forgot form widget. This was the one that was reported in the console. You will see that the quality of this widget is not quite up to standard. In fact, if you look at now the table, you will see where this method is having some kind of low quality score. For example, this metric, maximum nesting, source lines of code, these are all that we probably need to look at to see how we can fix them. So let's again look at the source line of code, and that was 50, and now we have 110. This is quite high compared to what we defined as a metric. So you can actually open this file right now. Just click on Open in VS Code. All right, let me just close my terminal and take a look at this build. This is quite big build method. So we defined that it should not be more than 50 line, but we do have a lot of logic here. Okay, what can we do to fix this? For example, the very first thing I see here is that we have this unpressed callback, where this has a very long logic here. So what I can do, I can actually take this out, and let's define a method. Here's my onSubmit method with the logic that we just copy and paste, and I'm going to replace it here. Okay, that sounds good. We just did one change in the build method. Now let's generate a report. Beautiful. Now, when I come to the forgot form, you will see that there is a few changes here. The first change is that we have a new method. And another one is that we have a build that, instead of a high kind of problem, like it really was high priority to fix, but now it has medium. It is still over the threshold, which is 50 lines, but it's at least medium. Let's see if we can fix this right now. There is a size box here, which is coming with all of these configuration. I can probably take this out. Let's do it this way, extract it to a method. Let's name it an account, and there you go. So now we have different method which is going to be used. So if you look at my build right now, this is much simpler to look. Let's go ahead and generate the HTML report again. When I come back to this report, we have more methods, which is nice. And just look at the green ones. It's a lot of greens right now. We're trying to fix the problems with the metrics that we have, with the help of metrics and the DCM analyze widget. So there's another metric here that we probably can improve, and that is number of used widget. We are using 20 widget in just forgot form build method. All right, I'm coming back again to see where I can improve. This time, instead of this method that I just defined, I'm gonna actually extract this into a widget by itself. I'm going to use extract widget. Let's call it has an account. Beautiful. All right, that's good. So now I actually extracted to has an account. This looks pretty good. Instead of a method, I have a class that returns this. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and remove this and replace this with my widget. I also had this widget size box that has configuration. I'm going to extract that into a widget. All right. Now I extracted this widget into a custom size box, and I'm going to use it here. All right, now let's generate a report for analyzing our widget again. Beautiful. This time, the number of widget is actually 14 instead of 20 that it was, and that has higher score. Take into account that we have now 2 more widget in our analyze widget report. If I open as an account, you see that the score is 100. Beautiful. Small widget. That is very good. And if I open custom sized box, is also gonna have 100% score, very high quality, and everything is green. This is great. With just a few changes, we increase the quality of this widget. You can continue doing the same and get all of these actually metrics to be completely green and high quality. Now let's talk about used widget. So in this widget, we are using all of these widgets that you are seeing, which is great. And then you also see that we have used this widget into auth page already. That is great. I'm going to actually this time pass show similarity to see if we have any similar widget to this widget. There are many times in projects we introduce widgets that are quite similar without us noticing. That's where the show similarity flag comes into play. If I come to the forgot form widget, scroll down, you will see that we have now two more report appearing here. The one is the resolved widget tree. You will see that this is the forgot form. Then we're going to have a form widget. Then it's going to be a column, which has these three widgets. And then the similarity section, which now has one similar widget. By default, a pair of widgets is considered similar if their subtree match more than 20%. Can you change this 20%? Yes. If you pass the threshold flag with a different number, here in this case, for example, 40%, with show similarity flag, then you will get different result. If I open the forgot password, you'll see that we have on login and DCM service. And then if I look at the login, it says we do have some kind of callback again. Of course, the parameter name is different, but it does have the same parameters. And then we're going to have the build method. Let me close my terminal. If you look at this, it looks like we have a column and then the widgets that we actually defined in our other widget as well. So this is pretty similar in terms of logic. This is great indication of duplication of code. So what we can do, we can merge these two and then make one widget and make them more reusable. Let me show you another widget, in this case, a dashboard page. If I scroll down, you'll see that we have the resolved widget tree, which has a conditional widget tree that is resolved. This is interesting as well. If I open the dashboard source code right now, you will see that in my scaffold on app bar, we do have a condition, and this is the body as well. Okay, beautiful. One last thing before we end this video is about the other type of reporters. Sometimes you want to run this command on your CDCI and you want to get the report back and show it in your CDCI. For example, you want to block a pull request. In this case, you can use other reporters, including GitLab, JSON, code climate, check style, and sonar. Depends on what type of format your CDCI accepts, you can use any of these. And if you don't find the reporters that matches your CDCI, please contact us and let us know. We're happy to provide that for you. Right now, if I just put the reporter as sonar, here is the result that you will see that you can directly use in your SonarQube project. For more information about this command, head over to dcm.dev.